So yeah, Harriet. mm.
You know I say that I am better now, better now. I only say that cause you're not around, not around.
Okay, right out the bat, I'm gonna say this isn't the worst movie of the year. So I'm gonna say right out the bat, Captive State is still worse, but that's not saying much. Okay, let's get on with the review. Oh man, this one was a screw of problem. Okay, so there's many reasons I went to go see this movie. Uh, One, because of the main reason was the audience score. It's at a 99% audience score, which is kind of dumbfounding me after watching this movie because I'm like, what the heck did the audience smoke when watching? But I digress. So I'm gonna get to the positives first because I don't have a lot. You can clearly tell I wasn't a fan of this film at all. Lighthouse and Gemini Man were better. Clearly, there were better movies this year, way better movies. So yeah, the main positive I can give this film is Cynthia Erivo as Harriet Tubman. She was the main reason this was good. But like Bohemian Rhapsody, I didn't review Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm kind of glad I didn't because this is on par with that. I would equate this to the Bohemian Rhapsody of this year because man, this film was overrated. Oh my gosh. Overrated to the point where it's like, I don't know which is worse, this one or Bohemian Rhapsody. I'd say I don't know. I'd say Bohemian Rhapsody's a tiny bit better. Just a tiny bit better, but that's not saying much because this was almost as bad. I mean, honestly, I don't know. CB Rivera did a great job though. She was the best part of this movie. She gave a great performance as Harriet Tubman, and she was one of the saving graces of this movie. And I gotta give her props. And I guess the ending of this movie was pretty great. They made a great tribute to Harriet Tubman at the end, and it was nice. And what they did at the end, it was nice. Just like the end of Bohemian Rhapsody was really great. They made a great tribute to him at the end. All right, great. The endings of these movies are great. Just like Blade Runner 2 had a great. I'm going here. So, yeah. I have a lot of problems. A lot of problems with this film. Granted, Captain State is still worse because at least this movie has a good narrative structure, and at least it kept me interested. At least I was entertained. But that's not saying much here. So, in fact, I wish I could just play the clip from this movie that kind of summarized my thoughts from this film. Actually, I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna find this scene, but I will post this scene when Harriet. I might just get Harriet on DVD just to post this scene, or I'll look it up or something. Or I'll rent it. I don't know. I really want to. This scene in the movie, there was a scene where, like, I guess this guy that was working with these slave tracker guys, which I don't really know the name except for Walter, who was pretty funny, but that's what I'm saying. This movie's got funny at points, and why am I laughing at a Harriet Tubman movie? This doesn't make sense. But anyway, so because it was bad, I guess. So there's this like one part where it's like this guy messed up trying to fight Harriet, aka Moses, in the movie. Which did that happen in real life? Anyway, so did they really call her Moses in real life? Because I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, so they try to hunt her down. This guy messes up. The guy shoots him with a shotgun, completely misses because the guy smacks him. And okay. I'm cringing just talking about this movie. So it's like, he smacks it. He says, "We fucked up." Okay. I tried. The theater was quiet, so I had to hold back my freaking laughter when that shit happened. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like meme material right here. This movie is meme material right here. Oh my gosh, that's the best part about this movie is the memes. Let me tell you, the memes from this movie are going to go on for generations. But wow. You can tell I didn't like this movie. Hold on a second. Yeah. So let me just get the negatives ready. Here we go. I got a lot. My gosh. So the person that directed this movie, which, by the way, I have no idea who this director is. Her name is, let me check. It's Casey Lemons. Casey Lemons directed and wrote this movie, along with producing and written by Gregory Allen Howard. And what's sad is Gregory Allen Howard did a great job with Remember the Titans, which is a great movie. I don't know what the heck happened here, because, wow. This is like, I mean, the pacing for this film is like ridic bad. It is ridic bad. Ridic bad. I mean, not as bad as like, you know, Blade Runner 2 pacing or Captain State pacing or like, you know, especially, you know, the pacing of freaking the Predator movie by Shane Black, which is insanely bad pacing. But there's worse paced movies than this, but my gosh. Bro, the pacing in this is just way the frick off. Way the frick off. It'll go from one thing to another thing to another thing. You're just like, oh, hold on. Like, you kind of wanted to slow down it. Like, for a 2-hour movie, they rushed this movie ridiculously fast. Like, it blows by. And that sometimes can work as in Godzilla 2. That worked because it's a Godzilla movie. No, quick is going to be quick. It's a Godzilla film. You want it to go fast. Or Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah, you want Hobbs and Shaw to go fast. It's an action movie. But for Harriet, it's like, what are you doing? Why is the pacing so fast? Like, what are you doing? It's a Harriet movie. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. Like, bruh. I couldn't follow half of the time. I was looking at my watch and I was like, what? I was falling asleep at points and I couldn't even pay attention to what was going on. I'm like, okay. I mean, there's like so many bad like cutting sequences. Like they cut to one thing and they cut to another thing. Like just random crap happening. It's just, what the frick? Stop! Like just let me follow what's going on. Like they tried. I feel like this would have worked way better as a miniseries. Trying to cram Harriet's entire life into one freaking movie was like impossible. Like you couldn't do that. You have to make it a 3-hour movie at least. This was like 2 hours and 2 minutes or something. And they crammed like so much crap into it. It was like, stop. Like let me follow what's going on. It's like, stop. Oh my gosh. Like anyway, so another thing is, it's like, I feel like this movie is trying to be overly serious, and truly it shows. This movie's trying to be overly serious. Like, in 12 Years a Slave, yeah, it works because, yeah, it's gritty. It's directed well. It's 12 Years a Slave won the Best Picture for a reason. Harriet's not going to win Best Picture, okay? Sorry, Harriet fans, but no, this is not Best Picture material in any sense. Like, oh my gosh. Like, what? I'm done. This movie has, like, such high ratings, and, like, bro, it's just hilarious when people get on Dark Fate, and I'm just like, yeah, you like Harriet? Okay. Makes sense to me. Bro, this movie is based on a true story, and none of this movie is realistic. Like, for example, you have a part where, like, Harriet is, like, running from these guys on horseback. I'm like, bro, I get it. Harriet is great, but she can't outrun 2 people on horseback. Like, okay, sure. I guess Harriet's fast enough to outrun horses now. Like, sure, why not? And then another part where, like, she swims into the water because God. Okay, here's their excuse for all the bullshit that happens in this movie. Harriet has God on her side, so she can do anything. Look, I get it. I'm a Christian myself. I love God, but I don't believe half of the crap that happens in this movie. Like, are you freaking serious right now? But yet you can't shoot a guy? I mean, sure, okay, God's on your side, right? You can't shoot a guy from like 10 feet away. It makes sense to me. Oh my gosh. So there's like one part where they go into shallow water and she's like, God's on my side. Like, what are the chances of that river being shallow? They just made a big, like, bro, they make big deals out of stuff that they don't even think. Like another part where like, oh yeah, if you jump off that bridge, Harriet, that's suicide. That's the guy's trying to hunt her. Like, if you jump out of that, suicide. Suicide's a sin against God. Okay, so she jumps off the bridge, right? And you're thinking, oh, okay, she's gonna come out of the river with injuries and stuff because they made a big deal. If you jump off the bridge, it's suicide. You know, if you jump off the bridge, it's suicide. You're gonna get hurt or die. And then we show her like getting out with no injuries. I'm like, what? She jumped from like 500,000 feet from a bridge into the river, and you're telling me she didn't have any injuries from rocks or nothing? Oh my gosh. Bro, unrealistic as frick. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? No gators got her, no rocks hit her, nothing? Like, I guess Harriet's invincible in this movie. Okay, like she could dodge bullets and jump into rivers from 500 feet in the air. Like, you can clearly tell the director had an agenda here. Like, oh my gosh. This makes me want to go see, I mean, freaking Charlie's Angels, because if this movie was not that great, then damn, I can imagine how much I'm going to hate Charlie's Angels. Oh my gosh, like, for a Harriet Tubman movie, this just was, this was a mess. This was an epic fail. Like, this was definitely an epic fail. Like, what the frick? Bruh, I mean, this was a big disappointment for me. I mean, this was like Bohemian Rhapsody levels of disappointment here. Like, oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Harriet fans. You love the movie, good for you. But this was just not working, okay? I mean, Casey Lemons. I mean, I'm not bashing Casey Lemons here, but she just was not the right pick for this film. Like, clearly, she didn't know what the hell she was doing. She tried to cram so much shit, and with all these characters that I don't give a flip about. Like, none of these characters. Oh man, I don't know. Frick. Just frick. I don't know. Oh man. So yeah, I mean, to summarize my thoughts, this movie is a mess. Okay, it's just a mess. Like, I don't like half of the characters. Harriet's the only character I like, and it's unrealistic as frick. Like, they don't follow any logic. You have to throw logic out the window to watch this movie, but even with the logic thrown out, you're still kind of like, what the frick? I mean, you're still kind of like, what the frick? I mean, there's parts where, like, Harriet, like, falls under because she's under God's influence or something. She's like, oh, I'm going to fall over in mid-sentence, and, oh, I'm in God's... like, what? I can't take this serious. She's just falling mid-sentence. You know, she's like, like, having a... I'm like, what? Did that really happen in real life? Like, I don't know. Just some things you kind of have to throw out the window for this. You know, what made Breakthrough work was that, you know why Breakthrough is an amazing movie? It's well-directed, has amazing actors and characters you care about. It's emotionally driven. You can believe what's going on because he doesn't instantly wake up from the coma. It takes an entire movie to wake up from this coma that he went into, and it's God, and you can believe it. Breakthrough is an unbelievable, believable, powerful story that's like, wow, this is amazing. Harriet, on the other hand, does not know the director does not know what she's doing. She's like, I'm going to make Harriet invincible. I'm going to make Harriet magically show up. I'm going to make Harriet do this. I'm like, okay, you have to make it somewhat believable. Like, with Breakthrough, yeah, it's unbelievable, but at least you can kind of believe it because, wow, I mean, the power of God went through the Christy Ricci's character, the mom of that kid, and she woke up the kid, and, I mean, and the people community prayed together, and it was like, wow, the power of God. You don't feel the power of God in Harriet. You just don't, because it's stupid. And the characters say stupid crap, and the writing is stupid, and the flipping... I digress. Harriet was a disappointment for me. I'm sorry, Harriet fans. If you love the movie, good for you, but it did not work for me. So I'm going to get to the rating here, because I could just go on a rant, because this movie is messy as frick, and... my gosh, it's formulaic as I agree with the critics. It's formulaic as frick. It feels like every trope, like the music was off. Everything about this movie was off. It was a comedy. It was a joke. This movie's a joke. So I was entertained by it, but that ain't saying much. So I'm giving this movie a 6.6 because, man, it's a D movie for sure. It has its good moments. The actor was great. She did a great job. I give her props. The ending was good, but the whole movie itself, not so good. Not so good at all. My gosh. When Gemini Man, a fictional movie about a clone, is more entertaining and better than this, you know you effed up. You know you effed up. Oh my gosh. What the frick? You fucked up, nigga. You messed up. Pretty much summarized my whole thoughts on this movie. So, oh man, yeah, didn't like this movie. Sorry, everybody. I mean, when people getting on Dark Fate, yet they like this movie, I'm like, okay. At least Dark Fate was an original story that they didn't base on a true story and didn't mess it up, or wasn't historically inaccurate and have people jumping from bridges surviving it. Okay, like the people in Dark Fate weren't Mary Sue's. Like, oh man. I digress. So thank you all for watching. Tatum Meister signing out. And thank God I watched Ford vs. Ferrari on the same day as this, because that made up for this BS crap. So, man, thank you all for watching. Tatum Meister signing out. Bye-bye.